Your Excellency, our amiable President, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, the President of the Senate, the Speaker, Federal House of Representatives, Your Excellencies, our darling governors, our workaholic national chairman and members of the National Working Committee of our great party, distinguished zona and state PWD leaders, our respected PWD stakeholders, members of the press, fellow Nigerians. It is my delight to address you on this year's commemoration of the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Today, we gather as part of a global movement honoring resilience, celebrating achievements, and renewing our commitments to building a society where every person, regardless of physical or sensory condition, can live with dignity and opportunity. Since 1992, when the United Nations declared 3rd December as the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, nations worldwide have used this day to remind themselves of the moral, social, and developmental responsibility we owe to persons with disabilities. This year's theme, Fostering Disability Inclusive Societies for Advancing Social Progress, is both a challenge and an invitation. It invites us to reimagine how our communities function and who they include. It challenges us to dismantle the barriers that still stand between persons with disabilities and their full participation in society. The United Nations team aligns with the Doha Political Declaration, which urges all countries to ensure equal opportunities, remove discriminatory barriers, and embed disability inclusion across public life. These are not abstract ideals. They are practical steps needed to lift millions out of exclusion. Nigeria, as a united member state, is expected to align with this vision, and today's commemoration gives us a chance to assess our progress and refine our strategies. To understand the importance of today, we must reflect on both the struggles and the strengths of persons with disabilities worldwide. History is filled with examples of extraordinary individuals who defied limitations imposed on them by society. Consider Stephen Hawking, whose contributions to theoretical physics changed global knowledge despite motor neurons disease. His life demonstrated that disability does not diminish intellect or innovation. It is society that must adapt. Think of Herman Gamma, the first deaf-blind graduate of Harvard Law School, whose advocacy reshaped perceptions of accessibility in the United States. Her story reminds us that inclusion is not charity, it is a right. In Africa, we celebrate people like South Africa's Natalia Du Toit, the amputee swimmer who competed against able-bodied athletes at the Olympics, showing the world that disability is not inability. These examples confirm that disability is neither a sentence nor a shadow. It is a dimension of human experience that should be met with understanding, adaptive systems, and supportive policy. Yet, we must not be blind to the challenges. Persons with disability in Nigeria continue to face limitless access to education, employment, healthcare, political representation, and transportation. Despite progress, barriers remain embedded in infrastructure, institutions, and attitudes. The Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act of 2018 sought to change this reality. Section 1 of the Act clearly says that no person with disability shall be discriminated against on the basis of disability. This is the legal foundation for equality. Section 3 mandates public buildings to be accessible with ramps, lifts, and appropriate facilities. Yet, many public offices still fall short. Section 17 provides that all transportation service providers must make their vehicles accessible. Years later, compliance remains partial at best. These provisions underscore our local and legal commitments, but laws must translate into lived reality. I call on federal government, states, and local governments to accelerate full implementation and domestication of the Disability Act, where it has not yet been adopted. We cannot advance social progress if state actions do not uphold the rights of citizens with disability. We cannot become an inclusive society if enforcement remains optional. The UN team reminds us that development without inclusion is incomplete. A society that progresses economically while marginalizing is vulnerable is not truly progressing. Nigeria has taken important steps under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administrations. We have seen renewed efforts to strengthen disability inclusion, social protection programs, conditional cash transfers, accessible education initiatives, and disability-focused interventions are gradually expanding the safety net for our community. The First Lady, our dear mother, distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has also championed initiatives supporting women and children with disabilities, integrating their needs into national empowerment programs. Within the APC as a political party, the National Working Committee, under our able and dynamic Professor Natawe Yiwada, has institutionalized disability representation, ensuring PWDs participate fully in party governance and leadership. This is a precedent that should inspire all political parties. Several APC governors have taken bold steps domesticating the Disability Act or establishing agencies to implement disability inclusive policies. These examples must become the national standard. As national leader for persons with disabilities in the All Progressive Congress, I have sustained my commitment to improving the lives of PWDs through grants, scholarships, medical support, mobility devices, and welfare interventions. I have worked to reduce hardship and expand opportunities for families affected by disability. Despite these efforts, more remains to be done. Economic realities continue to weigh heavily on persons with disabilities. Unemployment and underemployment remain high. Cost of living crisis intensify vulnerability. Many families lack access to to assistive devices, rehabilitation services, or inclusive education. Across the three tiers of government, we must respond with targeted actions. We must ensure that no one is left behind. International experiences offers helpful lessons. In Australia, persons with disabilities are central to national policy through the Australia Disability Strategy 2021 to 2031, which aims to elevate disability leadership and embed inclusion across all government activity. Leadership representation is a key pillar. Persons with disabilities sit on advisory councils, boards, and government working groups. This model is one Nigeria can adapt. I propose that Nigeria adopts a 10-year national disability inclusion strategy, modeled after successful global frameworks, but tailored to our socio-economic realities. Such a strategy should include national targets for accessibility, inclusive education, employment quotas, political participations, and representation at federal and state levels. It should also empower civil society organizations and ensure sustainable funding mechanisms. This decade-long plan should be developed in collaboration with the PWD's community. Not merely for them, policies must reflect lived realities. In line with this year's United Nations theme, our country must invest in accessible technology, inclusive digital infrastructure, and affordable assistive devices. Technology is a bridge that can turn barriers into pathways if deployed with equity. Community awareness must also be prioritized. Many barriers faced by PWDs are attitudinal. Stigma, misinformation, and cultural myths persist. Advocacy, media representation, and inclusive education can dismantle these barriers faster than any law. Public buildings, transport systems, schools, and workplaces must undergo regular accessibility audits. Local governments must play a more active role because inclusion begins at the community level. Economic empowerment is equally crucial. Government and private sector institutions should collaborate to create entrepreneurship funds, vocational training, and reserve job placements for PWDs. Political inclusion must deepen. Persons with disabilities deserve to be councillors, local government chairpersons, lawmakers, senators, House of Representative members, commissioners, ministers, governors, and even presidents. Our voices must be shaped and must shape the decisions, not merely react to them. I urge political parties at all levels to emulate the All Progressive Congress by creating PWD's directorate and leadership quotas that ensure meaningful participation. As we commemorate this year's International Day, let us remember that inclusion is not a favor, it is a right. It's not a gesture, it is a responsibility. It's not an event, it's a continuous process. A society that excludes persons with disabilities in society impoverished by its own blindness, but a society that embraces inclusion becomes richer in innovation, compassion, productivity, and shared humanity. Let us honor the resilience of every Nigerian who navigates life with disability. Let us celebrate their achievements. Let us confront these challenges with courage and sincerity. Today is not only a day to reflect, it is a day to act. It is a day to renew our covenant with justice and equality. May we commit to Nigeria where disability no longer limits access to opportunity. May we envision communities where our children grow without stigma, our youth find meaningful work, and our adults live with dignity. Together, we can build a future where every Nigerian has a seat at the table and a chance to contribute to our national progress. I thank you all for your dedication, for your advocacy, and your partnership. May this year's commemoration inspire renewed resolve, stronger alliances, and deeper commitment to building an inclusive society for all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you for your attention.